Here's some drone footage that was shot on a GoPro, and I'm going to be passing that into a program that is written in Python that uses TensorFlow and uses the HuggingFace models that includes LLMs and diffusion models and things like that. Currently passing it in through this program I wrote. You can see it's processing through the pipeline. It's taking in each frame from this video, and then it is modifying it based on a prompt, and then it is spitting out a new frame. And then eventually you're going to be combining those frames back together. Let's jump into how this works and some examples. First, I needed to extract all the frames from the video, and I do that using FFmpeg. You just give it the input file, the frames per second, and the out file format. Now that we've got all those frames, let's pass the first frame through one or multiple diffusion pipelines along with a natural language prompt. So each frame edited using a natural language prompt passing through the pipeline, so you can tell it how to edit each frame. So that output becomes the first frame. We save that, and then for the next frame, the frame is overlaid. That previous frame is overlaid on the next video frame with transparency. And this is to help guide the generation to be more similar like the last frame. Since that overlay causes an overexposure, every few frames I decrease the overlay opacity to kind of reset the image back to more original. Now we pass these through in a loop for each frame where we're getting the previous frame, we're overlaying it, and then we're passing it through the pipeline and we're saving the frame image output. Finally, once we reach the last frame, I combine the frames into a video with FFmpeg, where you set the frame rate, the input images, and the output file. Just give me a second. I am using multiple pipelines to do multiple modifications. For this one, I have like a prompt, make the art style look like a low poly realistic animation style. It shows a shadow and it starts kind of walking away into the door, because that's kind of what happens in the original video. Obviously, this is very indistinct. It's hard to distinguish what is going on. Let me just show you some other examples. So here are the first two that I ever did. They didn't come out very well, kind of very random. I was trying to make a dragon come out of the TV. There are techniques later on that I used to make flow a lot better so that it comes out with a lot less random video. Now these are ones I did a little bit later on. I do use some techniques here, and they were all fed different natural language prompts. The top left was something about changing the steering wheel into lava and adding fire. The bottom left, obviously the creativity levels were set higher. It's something about like adding leaves. And then the bottom right, I think, was one of my favorite ones, where I'm telling it to use the Breath of the Wild style. And this isn't supposed to be like text to video. I know there's already text to video things out there. There's stuff better than this to do that, but this is different, and that's okay. It's a tool. It's a filter. Here's some other examples. This is like a futuristic city prompt. The top ones, I told it to add lightning, and the bottom ones, I think I told them to rain, but they're a little bit different styles. Here's some other ones I thought was just interesting because it changed my face, and like this is not my face, the top left. Someone completely different. Now here's a lot of other examples that I have, and you can see with some of these that they get oversaturated, and that's something that I kind of fixed later on. And finally, I wanted to just show you this one in full screen because it was one of my favorite ones. And also these are upscaled just by the way at the end, the last generation, it's having it scale it up. So here's some other interesting examples. I basically told it to add gold in the first two. The one at the top right I thought was really cool because it changed the color of the truck from orange to gold. And the one in the bottom right, it was a prompt about a crashing car, and it makes it look like that the car got crashed. Here's another example, and just also to show you the oversaturation that can occur, but also to show you how it does like create a continuous flow of a single video if you do it the right way. And here's another example of that, but also oversaturated. This is another earlier example. It's just a video of me holding up my arm. Told it to turn me into a cyborg, some prompt like that. So since the video is still being processed, I think I'm just going to show you what I have right now, and then I think y'all will just have to wait until I get it completely processed, and then I can publish on my channel and y'all can see it. So let's go ahead and take those frames using FFmpeg and turning it into the video of the drone footage. Now, the thing about this is the reason why it's taking so long is at the beginning of the footage, it's basically just sitting there for a long time. But you can see that as I am playing the video, I later on changed the prompt a little bit to make it look a little bit better. And you can see, I can show you some things. Alright, so you can see that it's taking a step. So this is what I showed earlier. So this goes on for a little while. Someone's walking out, coming back in. Now you'll have to wait because I'm going to change the prompt a little bit, and you'll see it here in a second. Now a lot of this about getting the right consistency is about getting the right prompt and also the right transparency values for the overlays and such. So right here is where we changed. So right here is where I changed the script, and I also changed some of the transparency values. So right about now, so it's getting very purplish, but then I change it. I told it to block, like a blockiness, to add blocks. It came out with some interesting stuff, but then I kept changing it until I got something a little bit more stable. You could also see that it was doing that oversaturation, and then I stopped it from doing that when I changed back one of the values. But right now, I actually don't have any footage of it going up, but you can see the propeller spinning. But that was the end. That is all that is rendered right now. I'm going to continue that rendering. I just need to change the frame number that it's on. Anyways, I'm going to be doing more with TensorFlow, and if you're interested, stick around and I will post more